Once the fire is going, add Gracie Gray, corn, bread, butter, milk, and a chunk of stove wood. These simple but crucial items signify the core materials needed to power a journey, like Ken Curtis's, to leave an indelible impression on entertainment. It was difficult for Curtis to attain renown in the Wild West, which was ruled by legendary cowboys and was full of peril. Curtis persevered despite many obstacles. He persevered despite the vicious outlaws and the stifling jailhouse, where he often found himself but never let it define him. His success on Gunsmoke cemented his entertainment industry fame. Curtis's perseverance and determination helped him make history. Behind his success was a dark secret from his background, a rumor that haunted him. For 30 years, Curtis suppressed this fact under his public persona. He could never escape this ghost from his past, a quiet companion. After decades of hiding, Curtis finally confronts his past and speaks the truth. His bravery proves that even legends must face their demons. How serious was this secret? Join us for this fascinating episode as we uncover Ken Curtis's startling confession. Before becoming an actor and singer, Ken Curtis' life was a thriller with unexpected turns and twists. He is well known for playing Festus in Gunsmoke. Curtis Wayne Gates was born in Lamar, Colorado, on July 2, 1916. The youngest of 3 boys, he and his family lived on a ranch near Muddy Creek for his first 10 years. Ken's life was stable until 1926. However, everything changed after that. The family had to move from their quiet ranch to Los Animas because his father, Dan Sullivan Gates, ran for sheriff and succeeded, serving as Bent County Sheriff until 1931. Promotions cost money. The new surroundings were not as pleasant as the old ones, which surprised Ken Curtis and his family. Their new home was above the local jail. Nellie, Ken's mother, had a unique role. In addition to raising her sons, she fed and treated convicts well. Ken witnessed all the fascinating and sometimes sinister jail inmates. Cedar Jack was one of these. He was notorious for his wild and intoxicated antics, which often sent him back to jail. Ken, who lived above the jail, saw everything. Every new arrival and departure, all the tales and secrets. Even though they moved, the family tried to keep their familiarity. Ken's mother encouraged his singing career. Her instrument was the pump organ. Chester, Ken's older brother, played banjo. Carl, his other sibling, sang, and his father played the violin. They always had music at home, which molded Ken's love of music. Ken Curtis was an unusual child. All the unusual things surrounding him made him grow up differently. The high school football team's clarinet player was in the band. He was the team quarterback. In 1935, he graduated from high school with honors and was accepted to Colorado Springs College to study medicine. Ken had a secret love and covertly pursued his dreams while singing. Ken started performing musicals in college. It was impossible to deny performance excitement. He left medical school to pursue his passion and became famous. Ken's singing career took off after college. He was a popular NBC radio staff vocalist in the late 1930s and early 1940s. He attracted listeners with non-country/western music. He was a radio vocalist in Yonkers, New York, by 1940, according to the census. An incredible incident occurred then. Naturally, Tommy Dorsey, the band's leader, was impressed by Ken's sample tape from famous vocalist Joe Stafford. Ken's honey-textured voice made him popular with the crowd and band leaders. He held important places in Shep Field's and Tommy Dorsey's bands. Tommy Dorsey hired Ken to succeed Frank Sinatra as lead singer in 1941. Ken's career began here. This helped establish his reputation as a great vocalist by expanding his following. While his star was rising, World War II halted his voyage. Ken quit music and joined the U.S. Army Infantry to serve his country. From 1942 to 1945, he served. The conflict caused global changes, including industry growth. When it ended, many people and places became pale imitations of their former selves. However, Ken Curtis had a different experience. He continued his musical journey as if he had never stopped. After returning to Los Angeles, he was invited to participate in Joe Stafford's WWVA Jamboree radio show, where he became popular. After a smash with Tumbling Tumbleweeds, Columbia Records recruited Ken as a singing cowboy in 1945. Tragedy struck this day. After that, Ken appeared in more low-budget musical westerns with famous musical ensembles like the Hoosier Hotshots. He sang lead for the Sons of the Pioneers from 1949 to 1953 and 1955 to 1957. And this started his music career's spectacular rise. Ken Curtis helped create hits like Room Full of Roses and Riders in the Sky. He also learned a lot about Western music's rich history while performing. However, Ken was more than a vocalist. Also, he was naturally good at acting. He gained fresh prospects in Hollywood. Ken finally got the starring role in Zorro-inspired Don Daredevil Rides, again in the early 1950s. He appeared in all 3 CV flicks, Whitney Pictures, owned by Cornelius Vanderbilt Whitney. He also experimented with filmmaking, making 2 low-budget monster movies in 1959. Their titles were The Killer Shrews and The Giant Gila Monster. Ken joked that The Killer Shrews had one of the lowest budgets ever. The film's outrageous special effects made the shrews, who were actually dogs with fur, added to make them look lifelike, renowned. Even though the ratings were negative, Ken, a persistent artist, kept working. Ken guest-starred 5 times on Have Gun and Will Travel alongside Richard Boone, which fans may not know. In 1959's Gunsmoke episode Jayhawkers, he played cowhand Phil Jakes. After that, he played circus performer Tim Durant in Perry Mason's The Case of the Clumsy Clown on November 5, 1960. Ken was a minor Hollywood star until 1962, when things changed. Even after appearing in movies and songs, this was true. It's the big break. When Ken debuted on Gunsmoke as Festus Hagen on December 8, 1962, his life took another unexpected turn. Since viewers were hooked, the producer invited Ken back. He joined the cast as Festus on January 18, 1964. Festus Hagen was a filthy, cantankerous, illiterate despot. Festus was the longest-serving deputy, appearing in 304 episodes over 11 years, unlike Marshal Matt Dillon, who had 5 deputies for 20 years. This character was inspired by Cedar Jack, a Los Animas native Ken had known since infancy. Cedar Jack lived 15 miles south of the city center and chopped cedar fence posts to survive. Due to his many interactions with Cedar Jack, Ken's memory of him was forever changed. Ken's ability to recollect earlier events helped him build Festus' character, especially his nasally, twangy country dialect, which was not his. Gunsmoke, the longest-running primetime live-action series, was an icon. Before The Simpsons overtook it on April 29, 2018, it had the most scripted episodes of any U.S. primetime live-action series. It held this record until 2017. Festus Hagen, played by Ken Curtis, changed everything. Ken's amazing performance gave Festus a sense of humor, comedy, and sincerity, which made him a TV sensation. According to other cast and crew members, Ken played his role off-camera. He replied that Festus's charm was increased by his beard, which was the best west of the Mississippi. Ken insisted on wearing Festus's tattered blue shirt, ragged jeans, and ripped cowboy hat to talk shows and posh events to promote the show. When his beard became too long, he carried blunt scissors. Every episode showed his dedication to playing Festus's stubborn but sympathetic character. Gunsmoke's cast and crew loved Ken Curtis for his talent and friendliness. Although famous, he connected with viewers like old friends and never let it affect him. He remains one of television's most popular stars. When not working on Gunsmoke, the iconic actor performed Western-themed stage acts at fairs, rodeos, and other locations across the country. He kept performing after the show was canceled. Gunsmoke ends. CBS abruptly ended Gunsmoke in 1975, shocking fans, cast, and crew. However, the 1987 network film Return to Dodge drew the world to Dodge City. James Arness, U.S. Marshal Matt Dillon, and Amanda Blake, Miss Kitty Russell, returned. Gunsmoke, Return to Dodge producers wanted more familiar characters. They hoped Ken Curtis would return. However, a furious fight was building behind the scenes. Money seemed most important at first. The recently published history of television's most successful Western, The Gunsmoke Chronicles by David R. Greenland, reveals more to the story. Producer John Mantley said Ken wanted twice as much as Amanda. Money was not the only concern. Ken liked Jim Byrne's writing, but the producers wanted to tweak it. Ken would not return if the changes were made. Due to the fight, he told Mantley not to phone him again. Business proverb: the show must go on. CBS quickly filled the gap with Buck Taylor's character, who had been elevated to O'Brien. The musician's regular personal appearances kept the atmosphere flowing. Greenland felt the Gunsmoke storm brewing behind the scenes. Curtis was not alone in criticizing the script. Arness thought Earl Holliman's Jake Flagg was overshadowing Matt Dillon. The comeback of Gunsmoke was dramatic and challenging due of apprehension. Curtis chose not to return to Gunsmoke and Dodge and to seek other chances beyond Festus. He voiced Robin Hood in Disney's mime Teen 73 and as a retired police detective on NBC's In the Heat of the Night. CBS produced 4 more TV-only Gunsmoke movies until ratings dropped. Arness donned Matt Dillon's badge for each of them, but Blake didn't return until Return to Dodge. The subsequent films were subtitled The Last Apache, To the Last Man, One Man's Justice, and The Long Ride. Ken Curtis's personal life was revealed despite his efforts to shield it from security cameras. One of the interesting storylines was his marriages, which read like suspenseful movie chapters. Lorraine Page was Ken's 1,943 first wife. Both were under contract to Universal Studios when they met. They divorced after a short marriage. The split set Ken up for more thrilling events. Ken found he was involved with Hollywood's elite years after this split. During his time with the Sons of the Pioneers singing group, he won Barbara Ford's love. Ken's personal life was tarnished by their 1,964 divorce. The 1,952 marriage ended in divorce. After his divorce, the actor focused on his career. Despite her mysterious past, Ken married Tori Ahern Connolly in 1966. Even though there is little public information, Tori was a faithful spouse who helped Ken in his later years. Their consistent, loving relationship contrasted with his prior ones. Beyond being Ken's wife, Tori was more. She was popular among professional rodeo cowboys for 20 years. Her warmth and kindness allowed her to quickly turn strangers into lifelong friends. Death of her on November 2, 1997, touched those who knew her. Tori was buried at Academy Cemetery in Clovis, Fresno County, California, leaving a legacy of love and friendship. At the same time as Hollywood whispers about Ken Curtis's marriages, his supporters disseminated a tantalizing rumor. He hid his twin brother from the world. This mysterious twin who was never seen in public aroused endless debate. Some believed Curtis's twin was a PR stunt to boost his fame and show. Others thought the twin lived a secluded life. A worse theory said that the twin existed but died young, which the family hid. However, Ken and his relatives have never stated anything. Uncertainty regarding the truth kept people guessing. While some followers claimed to have seen the mysterious twin in public, others believed Ken had tried to hide his existence. One sympathetic explanation holds that Ken maintained his brother's privacy out of love. Ken disguised the twins' infirmity or illness, according to one belief. Another theory is that Ken's older brother, Chester, was his identical brother who chose to live a quiet life away from Hollywood. The lack of public records or images bolstered this idea that he enjoyed a tranquil existence. Despite these intriguing tales, the twins' existence has never been proven. Despite fans' speculation about this unknown person and his connection to the popular actor, the riddle remains. The dying days of Ken Curtis and his confession showed that his health difficulties had caught up with him, clouding his rock-solid marriage to Tori Connolly. There was more to their marriage, which lasted until his 1991 departure. Tori helped Ken become a step-parent and form deeper bonds. Things didn't go as planned. Ken's hectic career made their relationship even more dramatic and unpredictable. Tori said work pressure grew too much for him emotionally. He used smoke to cope, thinking it was fine. He quickly realized he was wrong. This seemingly minor practice hurt his heart greatly. In their first 5 years of marriage, Ken had a major health scare that started a downward spiral from which he could not escape. Tori realized the reality was ugly in the late 1960s. Ken's cancer was hard to manage. News touched her more than anything else in her life. In addition to losing her life partner, their ambitions of starting a family were dashed. Ken's disease-related pain was unmistakable. They decided to face their fate. They achieved something spectacular despite the obstacles. The fact that they adopted 2 children shows their will to overcome the sickness. However, cigarettes helped Ken cope with his health issues. His heart was burdened by atherosclerosis, forcing him to reassess his health habits. Despite her years of support for Ken Curtis, Tori was forced to care for him. Keeping up with the rising bills while he was exhausted was difficult. It was hard, and Tori began to lose her identity over time. Ken's dying month saw the dawn of his long-standing despair. He avoided public places to hide his smoking habit to avoid judgment. However, as reality emerged, it was clear that the actor was suffering a lot mentally and physically. Tori supported him in any way she could. Clovis gave the family peace, embraced him, and preserved his legacy. Fans were attracted by the revelation, which shocked mainstream media and won hearts. Many were surprised when Ken Curtis, 74, died abruptly from a heart attack while sleeping at his Fresno, California, home on April 28, 1191. Fans, colleagues, and media sent condolences. His ashes were scattered throughout Colorado's flatlands after cremation. A statue of him was also erected at 430 Pulaski Avenue, in front of the Educational Employees Credit Union. His legacy is preserved in this statue. Ken Curtis's films have performed well at the box office, according to fans and reviewers. Dallas was a good location for The Killer Shrews, a low-budget creature film. Ray Kellogg, a Hollywood veteran making his directing debut, oversaw 20th Century Fox's special effects department in the 1950s. Kellogg created the film's special effects. Close-ups of the terrifying shrews were done with hand puppets, which gave a creepy charm. The broader images featured coonhounds dressed as shrews, creating a memorable and hilarious appearance. Despite its cheap budget, The Killer Shrews was one of the region's most popular films and was distributed nationally and worldwide. It stood out from many similar films because of this. After its first release, the film's legacy endured. Diamond Entertainment Corporation released it on DVD in 1999 as a double feature with the giant Gila monster. Medici Entertainment released another double-feature DVD 2 years later with I Bury the Living. Legend Films released colorized versions of the film in 2007 with the giant Gila monster again. Rhino Home Video released a DVD of the movie after it aired on Mystery Science Theater 300's fourth season. The Killer Shrews was released on Blu-ray by Film Masters in September 2023 as a double feature with the giant Gila monster. The film was last shown at this event. This film's unique appeal and creative special effects have kept fans captivated. Rotten Tomatoes gives The Killer Shrews a 50% approval rating, with an average rating of 4.50 out of 10 after 10 reviews. Leonard Maltin rated the picture 2.10 out of 4 for its innovative and humorous science fiction. Charm and imagination can leave a legacy for years. We appreciate your presence and hope to see you next time. The video's major topic is now. We hope it piqued your interest and opened your eyes. Remember, each narrative deepens our comprehension of the world. Who knew Hollywood's golden age had so many secrets? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for more thought-provoking material.